Hello. How are you both enjoying the new summertime?
So the thing that I hate is that there is something like, not only it's summertime in terms of the DST, but also there is something like 24 degrees here out, but we are in lockdown, so we can't get out.
Yeah, that's the best. Good job. My mum refuses to change the clocks on the day the clocks change. So she goes through this strange one day where she refuses to acknowledge the clocks change and everything is like old time. I'll phone you at this time, old time. And you've got to like mentally keep a model of what time that might be. And then she, for some reason, switches on Monday morning as if that's like less horrific. So hello. So I don't think Robert can make this because he went off to get his COVID vaccine. So cool. I've also shifted. I'll have a think what we do for next week. We've got a public holiday on Monday. Whether it's worth shifting it later in the week, or you could just do a delivery lounge. You could just do like async, and we get Graham involved in that as well. But we can see. But for the weeks after, I've moved it, so it's this time ongoing. So yeah, so MTTP is looking pretty good actually, all things considered. 21.2 is our current value. We have changed the target temporarily, so currently aiming at 24 hours. And once we've had 2 weeks without significant incident impact, we'll pop that back to 12 hours. So the red line is still where it was on 12 hours, but just for the next couple of weeks, we'll be tracking at 24. Cool, and then announcements. Loads of people out this week. So yeah, just be aware of that really. Things may be a bit slower if we're waiting on people. Discussion items. So 14.0 has moved back to June, and there's a 13.12 has been added in before then, which hopefully is a good thing, and it means that more tech debt gets paid down before everything gets sort of rolled out in 14.0. So I don't think we have anything we need to do, but just as to be aware of. And there's also the link there that to the issue, which has all the breaking changes in it. So I imagine that might change a bit as we get closer, but just to share that. Cool. And then B is something I was chatting to Robert about actually last week. So just as a kind of a, just to make sure we're on the same page really. So release management is always our top priority. Well, incidents, then release management. So if you are a release manager, or when you are a release manager, feel free to ask people to help you, right? Like it's completely, you know, if you're in a 12-hour incident, you're surely going to need some help to step out, eat something, get some air, whatever. So if people do need help, please, everyone else, like drop things. Worst case is everybody's doing release management, but still, if that's what it takes, then that's what we should be doing. So yeah, if you need any help, people, please just ask for support or second pair of eyes or a cover or whatever you need really. And then I added in a step into the security patch process. So we had a situation the other week where Yorick kind of ended up bearing the burden of trying to do a security patch alongside preparing the monthly. So not to say that we won't ever do this, but just that there's another step has been added in at step 1, where it won't be assumed that we will immediately go into this, but the first step will be a conversation about when should we do this. So if we are being actively exploited, of course, we'll need to patch and take action, but it basically hopefully just gives us a little bit more of a expectation that we should have a conversation about when's the right time to have these things patched and get them out as soon as possible, but without necessarily risking you know, life and limb and the monthly release as well. So hopefully that's helpful, but I want to just make sure people kind of knew that these should always be a conversation, right? So it's the request for backport or patch or whatever is really always when can we do this? And that's where we should start from, rather than like feeling like you have to scramble and do it right now, or we should never do this thing. Would it be helpful? How comfortable do you feel like, would it be helpful to have additional things to help with kind of almost, I suppose, like templates of how to say no or how to push back or those things? Like, how comfortable do you feel negotiating those things? No, Skarbek, not comfortable. Was that a not comfortable or not useful?
I think it's a not comfortable. Sometimes
Okay.
it's hard for me to gauge things without the appropriate context, and I
Yeah.
think it's just comfort level in my experience, not having dealt with it a lot historically so far.
Yeah. Okay. How about I put something in our documentation, our release management docs, just as kind of like, because the actually like that position you're in Skarbek is probably where everything starts. And actually that probably just means we need to ask a load more questions about what would happen if we did this next week, or like if we do it today, what else falls off. So maybe we could put together some little sort of starting point templates. If you want to, if you're not sure where to start with, they could give you a sort of first point.
Yeah, I will say that from my experience, usually if you just point out the current plan, maybe because you have the ongoing release or something like that, I've never had someone pushing back on top of that. Usually people are always very understanding with release managers. They really understand. I mean, maybe they don't think about the pressure, but as soon as you write down what is happening, they usually back off and say, okay, no problem. But yeah, probably having something written down may help.
Yeah. Cool.
I'm probably too grumpy, but when someone asks me about doing a critical security release, I always default to no, unless of course there is an incident and of course there is fire in the Slack channels.
Yeah. And I mean, I think if we word things right, that's totally right. Like, as long as we leave it open, say like, hey, no, and here's why, then I do find that quite often when you start, even if it's not saying a yes or a no, if you engage people in the conversation of the why, it's interesting how many people backtrack themselves and suddenly like are the ones saying, oh, actually, you're right, it's not that important. So you don't ever have to actually say no. But just like, yeah, like maybe like Alessio says, like laying out like, here's what we got going on this week. Here's what you're asking for. Are you know, okay, let's see if we can get some little resources, because I think that's one of the things we go through kind of like monthly releases and stuff is it's like when we have to post about, hey, this release is out, or this is our last commit, right? We've made it so easy for ourselves because we just cut and paste. We have the message already written up. So maybe we just need something like that for kind of a few key starting points on these sorts of negotiations that we can just copy and paste in. Cool. Okay, I'll see what I can do there. Cool. Is there anything else anyone wants to talk about, either on the release management priorities or on that process and pushing back? Cool. Over to you, Yorick.
Thanks. Yeah, so this weekend we have the Easter weekend. Monday for most people will be a public holiday. Friday for some. Here in the Netherlands, for example, both are technically public holidays, but a lot of companies will only give you off on Monday. But I'm kind of curious, first of all, who else is going to be out? And then second, yeah, we need to, depending on who's out, figure out a sort of replacement for those release managers that are out. And the reason I want to discuss it here is that in case, you know, the entire team is gone, basically, we might actually have to put a changelog in place, or at the very least pause all the deploys. But it's yeah, let's see, there's some people writing.
So yeah, I just wanted to add in, so I will be asking tomorrow whether there is going to be a PCR for Monday anyway, like whether certainly on that day there could be, if there's lots of, or maybe Java already knows actually, Jarvis, there are loads of people out over the weekend from reliability.
I don't have, you guys are my team. Like, I don't have a team right now. I don't talk to them. So I don't know. I'm kind of like an orphan in infrastructure.
That suddenly got deep.
I don't know. Yeah, sorry. But it's not like a US thing to take time off. So I assume that US people will be around Friday and Monday.
Skarbek's reverted.
But Skarbek is like a slacker. He like takes any opportunity he can to take a day off, I think.
He's not, he's a reformed.
It's a real citizen of the world. He takes all the opportunity to be on public holidays.
He becomes European when it's convenient, I think. That's what I see.
We're going for like well-being and self-care in this team now.
Okay. Well, anyway, I don't know. Sorry.
Okay.
I'll be here though. I'll be here though if anyone needs help with release management stuff.
Okay, awesome. So yeah, I'll check in on whether it was actually going to be a PCL over the weekend. It's possible, certainly on Monday, but Friday it sounds at least we're good to cover. So
yeah. Yeah, in that case, yeah. So I put mine in PTO, but that's just preliminary, I think is the word. Mostly so I don't forget about it myself, because otherwise it'll be Friday. Like, oh yeah, wait. Yeah, let's then wait for Monday. Alessio stated he could take over Friday. And then Monday depends. Like if there's no PCL, we have to figure something out there.
Yeah.
I'm going to be around on Monday too, so I can cover Americas if needed.
Yeah, so there I'm actually curious, is the Easter weekend like a thing in the Americas, or is this like a very European thing?
It is also celebrated here, but I'm not sure about United States.
It's a celebrated holiday. A lot of companies will get at least one day, whether it be Friday or Monday off. I'm just going on vacation, which is why I'm taking both Friday and Monday off.
Yeah, as it stands right now, Robert doesn't have time off in Roots. So I mean, worst case, we like Myra, Robert, like, you know, we've got a little bit of cover on Monday, so that's fine. Cool. We could also relax in our revel in our 24-hour target. It's going to look a little bit less brutal this time around. So. Awesome. Cool. So yeah, I'll confirm tomorrow on whether there is a plan for PCL, and then we can get that locked in. So Myra.
Yep, thanks. So the scenario for tomorrow's rollback demo is outlined. It is about rolling back when the servers are in a drain state. So everything is described in that part of the issue. We just need someone to drive this one. So who wants to volunteer?
I can do the actual rollback tomorrow.
Awesome, thanks.
Awesome. Skarbek, are you going to be around in that demo? Yeah, awesome.
It should be.
As I say, we will need some SRE help. Super, good stuff. Is there anything else anyone wants to bring up on the recording?